Sunday and it's time to leave town, because again it's one of those last minute am I going to do it trips. I really hope this is a passing shower, because in all my wisdom I didn't pack my jacket. Not that I didn't intend to, it was just an oversight, because I thought I was wearing everything that I needed. Apparently, check your list twice. It's not just for Santa.
One more check of the forecast and finding that there were no more excuses in sight, it's time to hit the road. It's always good early in a ride to give yourself a gentle reminder to keep an eye on your cue sheets. This was that moment as I headed off down a dead-end road, only to turn around and come back and rejoin the route. The route had me weaving through the back of residential neighbourhoods, so I desperately tried to find my way out of Palmerston North. As I continued to navigate the labyrinth of shared pathways, in true Palmerston North fashion, it threw up some roadblocks for the mentally challenged. Being a good citizen, I decided to avoid the work site. Unfortunately, once again, with my focus being on escaping Palmerston North, I found myself continued directly past the detour, not rejoining the route. Thankfully, my sense of direction is slightly better than my attention span, and I realised pretty quickly.
This morning's a much later start than I would typically aim for. There's a little bit of method to the madness. This route is one from the Kennett Brothers Bikepacking Totara book. They rate it as a beginner ride or easy overnight for an experienced bikepacker.
Making it to Bunnythorpe, I thought I'd do a quick stop to support the local economy before hitting the road again.
I don't care much for Palmerston North, but the Ruahinis in the distance are quite spectacular. 40k in, and now just hitting the first of the gravel now.
With the gravel came the fantastic scenery and quiet roads. Kilometre after kilometre, no cars, no people, just tyres on gravel. Got this beautiful rolling countryside, and the what goes down must go up. Along with gentle undulations, the aptly named Ridge Road gave extensive views down into the valleys and across to the Ruahinis, making all the climbing worthwhile. time for a quick detour in the hope of finding some refreshments before continuing on to camp. Quick stop at the Apiti Tavern. It's back on the road. That was worth the ride just for those chicken tenders. As the gravel began again, there's just one more climb between me and camp for the night. And a quick downward roll through the Pahongana Valley. New bit of kit to test is a tarp, so we'll see how this goes. Time to set it up. Totara Reserve. Got the entire place to myself, and if I'm honest, for $22.50 a night, that's how it should be. I've just had a look, and $22.50 is actually for two people, $7.50 a person after that, so it's not so bad. Have stayed here before, way back on the first episode ever filmed. Haven't been back. Heaps of bird life, not as private as I would like. Way too many open areas, which I'm not a fan of, and I have to say, looking around, there's heaps of little bits of rubbish, which is really frustrating, especially for a site that has caretakers and otherwise. But anyway, gonna get some dinner on. So that's a successful night of tarp camping. First night of tarp camping, which you probably guessed by how terribly the tarp got set up and the time that it took. Needless to say, it's the first time the tarp had even been out of the bag. Quite a bit of wind last night until early this morning, but that was actually quite nice to have a bit of a breeze through because it was really humid last night. Going looking for sticks, I were wondering if I'd made a big mistake, but got the job done. Coffee time, get packed up and on the road. So day two is about 50k, predominantly downhill and all sealed. So it should make for a nice quick trip.
clearly this part is the not downhill part of the predominantly. Of all the trips I've done since doing the channel over this way, I've not actually been back through Pahongana, and so it's reminded me that there are a few more walking tracks in this area that I need to come back and do. Which I think is generally a good reminder that there's a lot to do in your backyard if you just go down a different road or look at a different map.
Following one last quick stop to support the economy in Ashurst, it was predominantly cycle trails and flat all the way back into Palmerston North.
So that was a great trip, and I'm glad I've done it. Very accessible overnight, or if you're short on time. So I left at 9:20 and got back before 10 the next day. Along with a new tarp, I had a bug bivvy which weighs all of nothing, and I was a little bit worried about how I'd feel about things resting on my face, and I can honestly say it was fine. I didn't miss any of the comfort. I probably could have set it up a little bit better, but that's just a learning curve. The other new bit of kit that I was testing, though I have used it before, was the yellow ground effect top. It's a sun hoodie, and the idea behind that over my normal long sleeve merino was trying to get a little bit of the sun off my neck and ears and so on, but I weren't sure how it would handle riding in the heat. Would have been a good 28 degrees, I believe, yesterday. Put up under my helmet, and it was actually really comfortable, and I didn't miss the zip front like I thought I would. And I also didn't find that I struggled with temperature regulation on the cold downhills like I have in the past with some other synthetic tops. So first round, really happy, really impressed.